The Shark Anchor, a legendary sword, is obtained in the 3rd sea. That alone makes getting this weapon challenging, requiring a monster magnet which itself requires 2 terrorize, 8 electric wings, 20 fool's gold, and 10 shark teeth. After crafting the magnet, you then have to wait for a specific terror shark to spawn called the Anchored Terror Shark, which has 195k hit points. And if you don't kill it, you'll lose the monster magnet entirely. While it may seem like a lot, it actually isn't, since when you're trying to get this weapon, you will be farming the sea events for materials, so you'll most likely already have the materials to craft the monster magnet. So it's just a matter of getting the Anchor Terror Shark to spawn. That said, this weapon is well worth it, with its 2 grabs and high attack damage. The Hallow Scythe, a mythical sword also obtained in the 3rd sea. It is, in my opinion, the second most annoying to get. To get this scythe, you must roll for Hollow Essence by either praying at the gravestone or rolling for it from the Death King, who only allows for 10 rolls every 2 hours. This is not even mentioning that it's a 5% drop from the boss itself, so it is a very rare weapon, which is pretty obvious considering it's a mythic. While grinding for this weapon, unless you're super lucky, expect it to take upwards of a week since RNG can be a serious pain. In fact, RNG was so bad for one of my friends, Chop25, it took him at least 34 attempts, if I recall correctly. So yeah, it can get pretty bad. The moveset doesn't make it worth getting if we are being honest. The Z move, a projectile tornado, and the X move, a grab. While the moves are decent, the X move can't hit ships or sea beasts, and the light attacks do low damage, although this weapon is more of a speed focused weapon. Pole second form, or as I like to call it, the Thunder God Pole, is a legendary sword, technically obtained in the 1st sea. How you get it is you get the pole from the Thunder God boss, which is his 5% drop, and then you get that to 180 mastery, plus you get Rumble to 250 mastery. Then, to follow that up, what you do is you do the Rumble raid till you fully awaken your Rumble fruit, then you do it again with the pole equipped. Then after you finish it, you get teleported to the spot where you buy the pole second form from the NPC there. Now, get your fragments ready because this will cost a lot, over 20,000. But it is well worth it since the moves are really powerful. They're quick, they hit well, they break instinct, and they're flashy. The light attacks do decent damage, and you just might like it. Although with all that said, be prepared to do the Rumble raid 6 times, because that's what it's going to require, so good luck with that. The Dark Dagger is obtained in the 3rd sea from a boss called Rip Indra, who is, by all means, pretty difficult. And to even summon Rip Indra, you need something called a God's Chalice, which you get from killing elite pirates, praying once again, or by getting it from a chest that it spawns in randomly every 4 hours in a server. As you probably already know or probably guessed, it is also a 5% chance drop, so it can get pretty absurd with the drop rates. A friend of mine, Dizzy Despair, has done 38 attempts and still hasn't got it. Now, in my opinion, this is the most annoying to get, at least for me, because it took me a week and a half to get this thing, where everything else was like a couple of days, but yeah, this was pretty crazy. The moves are okay, they're not too great. On its own, it's a really weak weapon, but with Buddha, because Buddha's broken, it gives it a really massive hitbox that does not look right at all. So yeah, that's why I think it's the most annoying weapon in my opinion, because you need a God's Chalice, which I find, funny enough, harder to get than Hollow Essence. So yeah. Now, would it really be a sword video without a true triple katana? You knew it was going to be here eventually. This is the other mythical sword, the one that we all have had pain trying to get, where you go to the legendary sword dealer and he's like, hey dude, and he sells you the same copy like Wando 8 times in a row or whatever. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this guy called the legendary sword dealer, and he spawns every 4 to 5 hours in the second sea, and he sells you 1 of 3 legendary swords. And in order to get this sword, what you have to do is collect all 3 of them from him. So at the minimum, let's say you get no copies, it'll take you 12 hours to 15 at the minimum. However, I have seen horror stories on the wiki where someone's gotten 8 copies, and that's gotta suck. A friend of mine, Dizzy Despaired, him again, took him 3 days to get it, and he will set alarms during the middle of the night to get up and look for him. So yeah, pretty rough. Now, the reason why I think Dark Dagger is harder, because for me it took longer. You know, it's like this can definitely take longer, but you can server hop and get it if you're lucky. But it's just like, you can also just set alarms to have it going on the side, the game on the side in like a pirate server or whatever. So you don't really have to like pay much attention or do it all that much. It's just something like you go and like look for him. It's just boring is what I'm getting at. The moves though are really good. So it has a grab, and then it has the X move, that's the big AoE. And they both, it hits C events too, so it's perfect for that. It does wicked damage, so really, really good sword. Definitely worth the time to go get, even if it's super annoying to get. Worth it. KoKo is a legendary sword that you get in the second sea from a raid. All things considered, it's actually really simple. All you have to do is go to the place above the Smoke Admiral, buy a microchip for 1,000 fragments, and head over to the lava bucket place. And then in there's going to be this like raid thing you access. You just do like any other raid, you click the green button, you know, you go in and you kill the boss. I believe it's also like a 5% chance, but at least with this, it's pretty quick. The only reason it's on this list is because if you get bad RNG, this could cost like 20 to 30,000 fragments, and that's really going to be annoying. So here are the moves. They're pretty good. The Z move is a nice little thing like this, and then the X move does this. Very, very clean. And it has good light attack damage. You know, honestly, this is really good for what it is. So definitely worth time to pick up, even if it can cost a lot of fragments. So the Shark Shot is an uncommon weapon that you obtain in C1 from the Shark Boss. He spawns every hour and a half, thus you can probably already see why it's annoying. You get a 10% drop chance every hour and a half, which is, yeah, it's pretty bad. And it would be fine, but the weapon has a V2. I don't have it yet somehow, but the damage sucks. V2 doesn't change that, and the moves are kind of meh. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish there was more to say about this weapon. It's just unremarkable. So that's all, unfortunately, for this one. Okay, so today I'm gonna rank them because I love ranking stuff. So for the first one, it's gonna be Dark Dagger. All the way up here. I'm changing that name. And pretend these are like descending and like difficulty to get. And then we have these two. They're like pretty identical. It's exchangeable which one you get more lucky on. And then TTK I'll put right here because it can be like, it's just really boring is what it is mostly. I'll put this one up here too because it's like a lot of fragments, like 20k, like come on. Plus mastering a fruit, no one likes doing that really. And then KoKo I'll put here because, you know, it's like, it can cost like be really cheap or pretty expensive. Depends on your luck. Shark Anchor, it's not really hard to get, it's more just like it takes a long time. It's just like, cause like when you get to the third sea, you're not gonna really like have it. Or like to get there, but it's just gonna take a while. So you know what? Yeah, it's going up here. Oh yeah, and the Shark Saw. The shark saw is going for a shark anchor because it's just like, dude, you have to wait for this guy to spawn and the weapon sucks. Like, come on, man. What the heck?